Hi, my name is Michael Peak, and welcome to this special program on helping you release negative feelings about men. Yes, release negative feelings about men, and I know that you've got some because all of us do. If you get to be an adult, especially a female adult, you end up with negative feelings about men. Hey, we all do, and that's okay. The key is, though, is the more of it that we can release, the better off that we can be, the better that we can respond to things. Now, here's the thing. What's the deal with all this? Why even bother? Well, of course, you have to deal with men on a regular basis. And especially if you're in business, you're going to be dealing with men. Even if your business caters only to women, you're going to be dealing with men. And if you want to have a relationship, an intimate relationship with a man, then guess what? You're going to be dealing with a man, men. So what we want to do is help you release some of the negative feelings about men so that you can deal with them better, so that you can make more money in business, and so that you can have better romantic and intimate relationships. Now you must be wondering, who is this guy and how is he going to help you get to be better at that? Well, first of all, just let me tell you a little bit about myself. I've been working in TV news for many years and learned lots of things. My first job was when I was 19, carrying around a 40-pound videotape recorder for $3 an hour at CBS. And I worked in news for a really long time, and I learned a lot of things from a lot of really great experts who helped me understand people and women. And then also I began working in the personal development field, and my company now actually sponsors an event called the Intrinsically Magnificent seminar for women. And we have helped many, many women, just like you, release lots of negative stuff and move on to great prosperity and abundance in a lot of things with money and personal relationships. And that's what I'd like to help you with today. Now, I'm not here just to talk about, oh, this is what you need to do to release this stuff or all the bad stuff or any of that. Let's just release it. And that's what I'm going to work on with you. We're going to go through a couple of different processes where you will actually release some negativity. Now, can we get it all at once in just this one little video? Well, probably not. But we can put a big dent into it. And let me tell you, we do this 3-day event. We spend the whole first day working on the negative feelings about men. And the reason is because so many women have so many layers of negative feelings about men. And it starts when you're young. You know, when we're little kids, men are really big and they're really loud and they can be really scary. And that's just as true for little boys as it is for little girls. You know, when you look up and you see that big guy making all that noise, it's pretty scary. But then, of course, as we get older, then you start dealing with the boys, and then the boys in high school, and then even the young men, and then eventually men of all ages as you get out into the world. So the key here is how are you going to deal with men, and what is the relationship involved? So first of all, if you've got negative feelings about men, then if you are in a business relationship and you're having to deal with men all the time, then as soon as you go into a meeting with some guy or you're even talking to him on the phone, then you've instantly, those filters of negativity come up. And it's not on a conscious level, it's just a subconscious level. But people pick up on that. Can't you pick up on it when other people have negative feelings going on? Well, they can pick up on it with you as well. So we want to release as many of those things as we can. Now, how does all this happen? How do we get all these negative feelings? Well, like I said, when you're little, there's all that going on. But then lots of times, girls start going out with the boys in high school. And maybe they had a really bad experience with some guy in high school. And if you were one of those who had a bad experience with me in high school, well, please forgive me for that. That's what I'm getting to, is it's not necessarily that the boys in high school were being deliberately bad. It's just they were incompetent. They didn't have any experience dealing with girls, and so they might have done the best that they could at the time, but it may have left some damage, maybe even a scar. So we want to get rid of that, because from now on, once something like that happens, then you start dealing from that place of behind that scar. And of course, maybe you had a bad situation in a business relationship where someone may have treated you badly, maybe a coworker or anything, you know, and then you deal with men as you get older, and maybe there was a marriage situation where it didn't go so well. So there's all these different layers. So we want to attack as many layers as we can. And we'll get to a couple of them in this video. It's not just about, hey, let's talk about it and let's talk about the reasons. Let's clear them out. because we want you to come from a place that's much more open to possibility. Because once you have any sort of wall up at all, any wall, a negativity towards anything, then you've cut yourself off from the possibilities that's on the other side of that wall. And we all do it. We have lots of walls to all sorts of different things. So the more that we can release, the better off that we can be. So the first thing that we want to do is just kind of do a general negative feelings about men. Now, when we do the seminar, the Intrinsically Magnificent seminar, I get to do some of the processes, and we're going to do one now. We have a lot of really wonderful speakers at that event. They're all women, except for me. I'm the only guy that's allowed into the room. Actually, my male cat, Austin, got to come in a couple times to a couple of them, but he's the only other guy. But I do some of the facilitating. And when I say, okay, we're going to talk about negative feelings about men, occasionally one or two women will try doing this. But Michael, I don't have any negative feelings about men. In fact, I've had great relationships with men. In fact, some of the best friends I've ever had are men, and what's up with you anyway? Okay, so if that's you, if you're coming from that place, that's great. We'll just pretend that maybe you know someone who's got negative feelings about men, because I know that you do. So maybe you know that person intimately. So now's not the time for pretending. Now's not the time for putting up the walls. Look, let's just handle this, okay? Otherwise, you're just wasting your time. You might as well just turn this video off. You know, I'm here, I'm doing all this for you, and I really want you to succeed. I want you to let go of some of this negativity. So you have to help. I can't just force it on you. You have to help. You have to participate. So I'm going to ask you to do some things, and I want you to do them fully. Okay, so the first thing that I want you to do is stand up. So stand in an area in the room where you can easily take a step forward. Yes, you too, I see you. Stand up. I can see through the monitor. I can see you. Okay, stand up, really. Make the effort and do this. Stand up and stand in an area where you can easily take a step forward. Because I am going to ask you to take a step forward at some point, and your eyes are going to be closed at the time. So you want to make sure that everything's clear so that when you step forward, you're not bumping into anything. And I'm sure that by now you must have found the place, so that's good. So what I want you to do is just begin by closing your eyes. Close your eyes and keep them closed until I tell you to open them. And begin by taking a couple of long, slow, deep breaths. That's right. Now I want you to just stop and go inside and imagine that on the floor in front of you, one step in front of you, there's a circle approximately 6 feet in diameter. And coming up through the floor, through that circle, is a really bright light. And it's a really cool color, any color you want it to be. And that light and that color represent everything excellent about you. Your imagination, your creativity, your connection to your Creator. Everything excellent about you. Now, leaving everything negative about you behind, step forward into the circle. Physically step forward into the circle. That's right. Now allow that light and color and power and energy to come up through the floor, through your feet, and circulate through your entire body. Allow it to wash all through you. Continue to do so until you hear my voice again. Take a deep breath, step back out of the circle, and keep your eyes closed. That's right. Now I want you to go inside and get a really good mental image that represents men. Get a really good mental image that represents men. And now come up with all the negative feelings that you have about men as strongly as you possibly can. Take a few moments to do that. That's right. Now, take the image and the negative feelings that you have about men and step forward into the circle. That's right. And again, allow that light and color and power and energy to come up through the floor, through your feet, and circulate through your entire body. Allow it to wash all through you. And this time, also allow it to wash through the image and negative feelings that you used to have about men. And notice how they change. Continue to do so until you hear my voice again. Take a deep breath, step back out of the circle, and keep your eyes closed. That's right. Now this can be totally unrelated. It can be anything at all in the whole world. This is totally up to you. You're going to just pick whatever comes up first. So I want you to just go inside and allow your unconscious to recall an event from the past that still requires healing. Get a really good mental image of that event and all of the negative feelings that you have about it as strongly as you possibly can. When you've got the image and negative feelings as strongly as you possibly can, take them and step forward into the circle. That's right. And again, allow that light and color and power and energy to come up through the floor, through your feet, and circulate through your entire body. Allow it to wash all through you. And this time, also allow it to wash through the image and negative feelings that you used to have about that prior event. And notice how they change. Continue to do so until you hear my voice again. Take a deep breath and step back out of the circle. And go ahead and open your eyes. And if you want, you can go ahead and have a seat. Now, was that valuable? Just take a moment to relax. And we did kind of a broad topic there on men. It's really kind of broad, and there are lots of layers about it. But before, I know that when you thought about men in general, you were getting kind of a little bit of a negative feeling. And now when you think about it, notice how you now feel different. Probably a little bit more neutral. And again, we probably didn't get all of it because there are lots of layers, and we'll attack a little bit more of it in the next video that we do. Now, I don't even know what the prior event was, and I don't have to know because you can't tell me over the internet here. But I want you to think about it for a moment. Before, when you thought of it, you would instantly get this negative feeling. And now when you think about it, notice how you now feel different. Pretty cool, huh? Probably pretty neutral. And that's what we want. We don't necessarily want to feel good about it. We don't want to feel good about it if it was something really bad that happened. There's no reason to feel good about it, but there's no reason to feel bad about it anymore. You've done enough of that already. So it's time to just let it go now, which you have. And you're going to find that you're going to be taking much better actions now as a result of letting go of some of that negativity. And I want to acknowledge you for actually going through this because it's a really, really big deal and it's a really powerful process. And if you want, you can always watch this again and maybe go through it for something else. I encourage you to do that. I just want you to know that I am here for you and I know that these processes work, and the more that you can release stuff, the better off that you'll be. Now, we do a whole bunch of processes like this at the Intrinsically Magnificent Seminar for Women. In fact, we do 3 days of it, so by the end of the 3 days, all of the women that are there are just floating on out and their lives are changed dramatically forever. So I would encourage you to check it out. Check it out at intrinsicallymagnificent.com. My name is Michael Peak. I look forward to connecting with you, and you have a prosperous day.